Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Monkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 33 of Warhammer 40k Conquest today. And in this issue, we got a set of Thermic Plasma Conduits, as you can see on screen. And as always, if you want to skip the issue rundown, head to the times code in the description. Heading into the issue, we have some background information here on Space Marine Chapter Masters. Specifically here is K-Ban Shrike, the Chapter Master of the Raven Guard. And over the page you've got Pedro Cantor of the Crimson Fists and High Marshal Helbrecht of the Black Templars as well. And we also have some background info on the Space Marines Honor Guard, a sort of bodyguard unit for officers the Space Marines can get. Specifically here you can see a member of the Victrix Guard, who are Marneus Calgar's bodyguard, and Marneus Calgar being the Chapter Master of the Ultramarines. And some background here on cities of the Imperium, sort of what it would be like to live in one, and the sort of types you can get. Probably not a particularly fun place to be. And some fiction here about the Blood Angels fighting in an Imperial city. And here we've got the build guide for the Thermic Plasma Conduits. Really, you could probably build them however you want. They're sort of fairly easy to put together, but the build guide does tell you how to fit them so that they fit the pre-printed terrain. It's all relatively simple. The painting guide likewise, also very simple. Basically just paint them silver, wash them black with Nuln Oil. And so I used Balthasar Gold instead of Retributor Armour because it's more of a brass colour, like on the Rise of Pattern Ruins. It's a bit less bright than the Retributor Armour. And we'll head straight into the mission now.
Before we get on to our mission, we have rules for our new Thermic Plasma Conduits, which we of course had the models for some time, but this is the first time they actually get different rules. And they count as barricades, which adjusts the rules of cover we've been using for them. So infantry models now have to be within an inch of them and behind them effectively, with reference to the firing model to claim the benefit of cover. So there won't be any more intervening terrain, as it were, across the board. It'll only be, you have to be within an inch of them to gain cover from them. And we can also fight 2 inches across them, so the normal needing to be within 1 inch to fight in melee is increased to 2 inches if there's a barricade in between. If that comes up, it'll be obvious. And in addition, the Thermic Plasma Conduits are hazardous terrain, or hazardous cover, which means that if you roll a 7+ on your saving throw while you're in cover, which means you roll a 6 on your d6, or you roll another d6 and on a 1, the unit suffers a mortal wound as explosive fuel or whatever sprayed all over them. And over the page we've just got some examples of that in action. We'll see that in the game if it comes up. There's a little bit of fiction there. And the mission, Drain the Power. We're in Mechanicus Zone BA-2 in Barachias. We're trying to capture the pipelines and divert their energy to supply our war efforts or something. So there are 3 objectives on board. Well, there are 3 objectives in the picture. We'll get onto that in a moment. There's that pipe, and that pipe. That's this one, and this one over here. Those are the 3 objectives. Now in the text it actually says 4 objectives, which we assume what they meant is they were going to put this one as an objective as well, but then they decided not to, probably because it's right next to the other one, so you could hold both at once with a single model. So I think that's just a proofreading error there. We're going to go with 3 objectives like it shows on the map, so the 3 pipes. And we actually gain victory points at the end of each round for controlling these, not at the end of the game. So if you hold more objectives than your opponent, then you gain a victory point at the end of the battle round, not turn. 3 victory points if you hold all 3 objectives instead. And then we'll be keeping track of those, and also victory points for enemy units destroyed for 5 battle rounds. And then for deployment, the Space Marines start in the cratered ruins over there, and the Death Guard start in the Imperial Eagle ruins down here next to the ammo box. We roll off to see who chooses to deploy first, take it in turns, and then whoever finished deploying first takes the first turn. And we do actually have 5 units each this time, so it does actually matter, unlike the last time this happened when one side had more units. And just one thing to point out here, it says Space Marines have 2 Hellblasters in their army list. We'll get onto the army overviews in a minute, but I just wanted to point this out because at this point we do of course have 3 Hellblaster models. So whether this is a mistake or not, we're not sure, but it says 2 in the army list, so that's what we're going to go with. And once again we have our campaign map for the city. And the Silver Templars won the previous game, so you can see there, put the icon in.
Well, since this mission is meant to be taking place in the Mechanicus Zone, I'm going to choose this spot to fight over next, because that's the Mechanicus Zone just there.
Yeah.
You see on this photocopy.
So now we're going to do the army overviews, and then we'll get on with the game. Now here's our Space Marine force. We've got the Primaris Librarian leading 5 Intercessors, 5 Reavers, the Redemptor Dreadnought, and only 2 Hellblasters as discussed in the mission description. And here are our Death Guard forces. We've got the Foul Blight Spawn, the Tainted Cohort, 5 Plague Marines, the Light Hauler, and 12 Poxwalkers. Rolling off to see who deploys a unit first. I've rolled a 6, you've also rolled a 6. Let's try again. 2.
Get in the box. 3.
So Space Marines deploy a unit first.
So for my first deployment, I'm going to deploy the Intercessors just there.
Then for my first deployment, I'm going to take the Tainted Cohort and put them in the Teleportarium, so you get to deploy another unit.
And so for my second deployment, I'm going to deploy the 2 Hellblasters just there.
My second choice is the Poxwalkers, who've all gone down in the area cover here.
So for my third deployment, I'm going to deploy the Dreadnought just here, ready to move out into the road.
Next, I've deployed my Mythic Blight Hauler here at roughly the back of my deployment zone.
So for my fourth deployment, I've deployed the Reaver Squad around here. This guy's still in cover because the area terrain goes all the way to the dark grey bit.
My choice is to put my Plague Marines down over here.
My last pick is to put the Librarian down just behind all the other Marines, basically.
And then finally I've put the Foul Blight Spawn down here. So just giving you an overview of the deployment. There's Death Guard there and Space Marines over there. Space Marines finish putting their units first, which means that the Space Marines get to go first. So we'll be on to Space Marines, turn 1.
So my first movement, the Intercessors are just going to move up to get behind this pipe to securely take that objective. The Reaver Squad is going to advance 2, so you go 8 inches. So the Reavers have moved up, and we hold that objective for the moment. So the Dreadnought has just moved up a little bit to cover the Librarian, who is where he's standing. You can see the Plague Marines, and he's very slightly closer to them than he is to the
Poxwalkers?
Yep. And then the Hellblasters are just shuffled along a bit to be in those windows. Okay, so onto the Psychic Phase. The Librarian will try to manifest Smite. He needs a Warp Charge Randy of 5. Gets it with an 8. D3 mortal wounds. 2.
Disgustingly resilient. Okay, that takes out 2 Plague Marines, so we'll take out the 2 bolt guns.
And then he'll try and do Might of Heroes on the Dreadnought to give it +1 toughness, which he did not get with a 4, he needed a 6. I'll start with the Dreadnought. He'll put everything into the Poxwalkers. So the Frag Storm grenade launchers, we have 2d6 shots. 5, hitting on 3s, 4 hits, wounding on 3s, yeah, strength 4. Only 2 wounds.
And I get a cover save from this because it hasn't got any AP, so 6s. Oh, I made one. And Disgusting Resilient. Oh, I made that. Yeah. So, no damage from that.
And then the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon. 12 shots hitting on 4s because it moved.
Yeah,
average. And wounding on 3s. Only 3 wounds.
No cover from this, but... okay, 1 Poxwalker dies. We'll just take one of that.
Next, the 2 Hellblasters will fire at the Plague Marines. They're not within rapid fire range, and they're not going to overcharge, so we've got 2 shots. Hitting on 3s, 1 hit. Wounding on a 3, it did wound. And we'll do the Intercessors, they're going to shoot at the Plague Marines as well. Shooting at the Plague Marines, 5 shots hitting on 3s, 3 hits. Wounding on 5s, 1 wound.
I'm in cover, so get my 3+, which I've made.
And that's it for my turn. Too far away to charge. On to Death Guard, turn 1.
Well, first thing we're going to do is advance these Poxwalkers, so try and get them out into the street. 4, so that's 8 inches they can move. Poxwalkers have moved out into the road, form a kind of screen, and the Plague Marines have moved out just a little bit out of cover and to get within 2 inches of those ammo boxes. The Foul Blight Spawn is going to advance. 4, so that gets him to there. And then finally, the Light Hauler just scoot round over here, keeping all these Plague Marines within 7 inches of it so they can benefit from its aura of cover. So on to the shooting phase. I guess we'll start with the Blight Hauler. He will shoot at the Dreadnought with all of its guns. So we'll start with the Multi-Melter. It hits on a 4, doesn't suffer a penalty for moving and shooting. It hits.
And it was rerolling 1s as well.
Wounding on a 3 because it's strength 8. It does. You don't get an armor save.
Nope.
And it's within half range, so 2 dice and pick the highest for damage. 5. Down to 8. We'll do a crack missile, hitting on 4, re-rolling 1s. That also roll a 6 to hit, so wounding on a 3. No. And then the Bile Spurt, just for good measure. Pretty sure shot this at the Intercessors, gets 2 shots. Pretty sure shot this at the Reavers, I mean. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s. 1 hit, wounds on a 5. That wounded as well, so it's -1 AP, so 4 plus.
Nope, didn't make it. Down to 7.
And next, the Foul Blight Spawn will shoot the Reavers, I think.
Yep.
So the strength of his gun is 9. I should have shot the Dreadnought.
Wounding at 2s.
D6 hits. 6.
Yeah.
Definitely should have shot the
5
Dreadnought.
Reavers. He's not in range of the Dreadnought.
So this was the right decision. Wound re-rolling 1s, so that's a 2. Yes, wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s, that was a 1. So 6 wounds, you're not in cover. Well, actually, you might as well roll 4 at a time, because then the last guy will be in cover if you decide.
So the first 4 have 6 plus armour saves. So they're all dead. And then the last one gets 2 5 plus armour saves. No.
So the Reavers get melted. And with our rolling track of victory points, that is 1 for the Death Guard, so we'll use it, mark it with that red die. And finally left to shoot will be the Plague Marines. They will shoot everything at the 2 Hellblasters over there in cover. So in fact I'm going to use my once per game ignoring cover bonus for contested territory battles.
Yep.
So you won't get cover from this. So we'll do the Blight Launchers, no Blight guns left obviously. Hitting on 3 2 rolling 1s. That's 3 2s, so only 1 hit. Wounding on a 3, re-rolling 1s. Yep, 5 plus, so you don't get cover.
Nope.
And 2 damage.
Regular Hellblaster goes down.
Champion's Plasma Gun might as well supercharge because ammo boxes. 2 and a 1. Reroll a 1. Yeah, he did get a hit. Wounds on 2. In the box. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh well. I actually completely forgot I was going to bring these Terminators down, and I did mean to do it, I just forgot because it means I can take this objective, which Michael said I can do it. So I would have shot with them last anyway because their guns aren't very good. They'll just shoot everything at the Hellblaster Sergeant. So they're within 18 inches, so combi bolters, anything in range. We've got 8 shots hitting on 3s, 6 hits, wounding on 4s, 3 average, so 2 plus armor saves for cover.
Yes, so it's only the Plague Marines who got the...
Yes, it's only 1 unit.
There's 3 wounds, 3 2 plus saves.
Yeah.
Made them all.
And then in the charge phase, I suppose they might as well declare a charge on the Intercessors. It's not really anything to lose, it's a 9-inch charge.
And Overwatch shots hitting on 6s with bolt rifles, 2 hits. Wounding on 5s, 1 wound. 3 plus.
Not in cover, so 3 plus arm save, which I failed. Yeah. And Disgustingly Resilient. No, so someone takes a wound. I'll put it on the sword actually. There we go. And then their charge distance, they need a 9. They've got a 6, so they have not in.
But that does mean you now control 2 objectives.
Yes, it does. So there won't be any more charges, but at the end of the battle round, the Poxwalkers control this objective, and the Terminators control this one. So that's 1 victory point to the Death Guard for controlling more. It's going to be 2 victory points. To Space Marine 0 as we go into Space Marines turn 2.
So in my movement phase, the Dreadnought has moved up, so we're really close to the Poxwalkers and we're within 2 inches of the ammo box. The Librarian's coming up with him, and the Hellblast and the Intercessors are going to stay where they are. So on to the Psychic phase, the Librarian will try to manifest Smite, try and kill some Poxwalkers.
Okay.
Gets it with a 7, so D3 mortal wounds, 2.
Disgustingly Resilient. Nope, 2 Poxwalkers go down. I'm going to take from the back 2nd rank.
And then he will try to manifest Might of Heroes on the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Needs a 6, gets it with an 8.
So the Dreadnought is now toughness 8.
Yes.
And
+1 attack.
+1 attack. Well, +1 strength as well.
Plus
that doesn't make any difference.
It'll be strength 16 instead of 14. On to the shooting phase. The Dreadnought's going to put everything into the Poxwalkers.
Alright.
So I'll start with a Heavy Flamer. D6 automatic hits. 3. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound.
Disgustingly Resilient. Made it.
And then the Fragstorm Grenade Launchers. 7 shots. Hitting on 3s because it's in its top bracket. We're rolling 1s, but we've got 6 hits. Wounding on 3s. 4 wounds. 6 plus cover saves.
Oh yes, because they are within range of the thing, so no cover, and then Disgustingly Resilient. Made 1, so 3 more go down. Trying to keep the line intact.
12 shots, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1, because we moved and it's a heavy weapon. Look at all them 2s and 3s. 5 hits. Wounding on 3s. Oh, they all wounded at least.
No cover from this, because it's my AP -1, so Disgustingly Resilient made 2, 3.
2 more go down.
So 2 more go down. We're going to take this one and this one. No. This one.
Brian will throw a frag grenade at the Poxwalkers. So D6 shots. 3. Hitting on 3s. 2. Wounding on 4s. 1. 6+ cover save.
Nope. And disgustingly resilient. No.
Yay!
Well, we'll take this one then.
Hellblaster Sergeant will fire at the Plague Marines. He's not going to overcharge.
Not okay.
2 shots hitting on 3s. Good job he didn't overcharge, he only got 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Didn't wound. And the Intercessors, we're just going to try and kill off all these Poxwalkers. Try and get to the dangerous things behind them.
Right.
So we've got 10 shots hitting on 3s because we're all in rapid fire range. 7 hits. Wounding on 3s. On boys, 5 wounds.
Yeah, no cover from this again, so disgustingly resilient. Yeah, that takes out the remaining 3. And that will be a victory point for the Space Marines.
And shooting over bits onto the charge phase, the Dreadnought will declare a charge on the Myphytic Blight Hauler.
Okay, yeah, but not without it, makes sense. So we're Overwatch with the multi-mounter. It can't roll 6s to hit an Overwatch.
Few.
The crack missile
Few.
doesn't reroll ones because its ammo box doesn't work in the charge phase. And Bile Spurt gets 1 shot, which hits on a 6. No, it doesn't.
Charge distance is 11, right?
I think it's in.
Easily within it, so he has to stay an inch away from the Foul Blight spawn.
Yeah.
So I think he is an inch away there. Yeah, he's just in. So the Librarian will also declare a charge on my Myphytic Blight Hauler, and once again he'll need a 9. Actually, he'll need a 9 because he has to go over the boxes.
Yeah.
But he won't get Overwatch, so might as well have a go. Ooh,
Not quite.
8.
No, so that's not quite enough.
Well, doesn't get the benefit, doesn't count as charging because he is smelly.
No.
But you go straight to who picks then, so I will pick and he will pile in like that.
Yeah.
But he has to put all its attacks on the...
Blight Hauler.
Yeah, the Blight Hauler, so it has 5 attacks because it has Might of Heroes. So it has 5 attacks, hitting on 4s because the Blight Hauler has -1 to hit because it smells bad.
Yeah.
So... 3 hits. Wounding on 2s because it's strength 16, something absurd.
Yeah.
2 wounds because he always gets 1.
I get 5+ invulnerable save for being a demonic thing, so it's made 1.
So it takes 6 damage.
Yeah.
D6 damage.
D6 damage.
1.
And disgustingly resilient ignores it. So it bounces off, but it does tie it up, so it's not going to get to shoot. And then I get to fight back with it. It has 3 attacks hitting on 4s, 2 of which have hit, and they wound on 5s. 1 wound, -2 AP.
5+ arm
Oh, you
save.
made it. Okay, and then the Foul Blight Spawn also gets to hit back. 3 attacks hitting on 3s. They all hit, and Death to the False Emperor. 4 hits, wounding on 5s. 2 wounds.
3+ armor saves. Made both.
Made both. So he's still in his top bracket, just about. That'll be it for Space Marines turn 2. On to Death Guard turn 2. We're in my movement phase. These 2 have fallen back from combat with the Dreadnought, but I now have more than... so I control this objective now because I have 2 models within 3 inches of it, to the Dreadnought being only 1 model, despite its size. The Plague Marines have moved up a little bit, but they're staying within 2 inches of the ammo box and coming up to control this objective. And then the Terminators have shuffled a bit because of this pipe and the way it's been annoying, but this guy's actually on the pipe, so they are in coherency through him, but I'm putting him down here so he doesn't fall off. In the shooting phase, the Plague Marines are going to shoot everything at the Dreadnought. We will do the Bright Launchers. So hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, 3 hits, re-rolling 1s, still 3 hits. Wounding on 5s, re-rolling 1s, unfortunately. That's 1 wound, 5+.
Plus.
Yep.
Oh, we can make armor saves.
And then Plasma Gun will supercharge because of ammo boxes. 2 misses, but that's a hit. Wounding on not a 2. It would have been 3.
It would know 4.
Oh no, for 4, of course it's got Might of Heroes.
Might of Heroes.
Yeah, quite right, but 2 still no good. So we'll go on to Terminators, and they will shoot everything at the Intercessors.
Yep.
Plague Spewer, so D6 automatic hits. 1. Wounding on a 3, re-rolling 1s because it's a plague weapon. Yep, it does. Yeah, so they are in cover.
So they all got cover.
Just about.
So it's a 3+ armor save,
Yep.
which I made with a 6. Oh, I rolled a 6.
Oh yeah, okay, oh yes, you rolled a 6, so you have to roll another die. And
On a 1, they take a mortal wound.
Yeah.
They do not.
No. And then we've got all the combi bolters hitting on 3s. 3 hits, wounding on 4s. 1, and you've got a 2+ save. I don't roll a 6. Oh, you rolled 1. Well, actually, yeah, I'd rather you rolled a 1 than a 6, to be honest.
Take it for the guy closest to them.
Then these 2 models can't shoot because they fell back, so we will declare a charge with the Terminators on the Intercessors.
Not in crack grenade range for Overwatch, so 10 bolt rifle shots, hitting on 6s. 3 hits that time. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound again.
3+ again. Yes, I made it this time, fortunately. And then it's a 6-inch charge.
Well, it would have been a 2+. Oh, it would have been 3+.
Yeah. 6-inch charge, and they've rolled a 9, so they're definitely in. No more charges, so they will fight, and you can see I've moved them within 2 inches of the intercessors across the pipe using the new rule we have from this issue. And then they get to strike. We'll start with the sword man, I guess, doesn't really make any difference. He hits on 3s, 2 hits, wounding on 4s, re-rolling 1s. That's a 6, so that's -4, but that's only 1 wound, so it's -4.
So the wounded bandit dies.
Yeah.
With no armour save.
Then we've got 2 attacks from the axe. They both missed. And the 2 attacks from the man with no melee weapon gets 1 hit, but Death of the False Emperor, which generates another. So 2 hits, wounding on 4s, 1 wound.
3+ armour save.
Armor. Made it fine.
you
Consolidate
get
this guy into him.
Well, I mean, these guys are going to have to move in a bit just to get everyone within melee range. And then they get to fight back, and there's 9 attacks between those 4 intercessors. 9 attacks, hitting on 3s. On average, 6 hits. Wounding on 5s.
Ooh, pretty good.
4 wounds.
So we don't want to see any 1s here. That's a 1. Disgustingly resilient. Nope, you take out
That's important.
the sword man. I think I shouldn't have put the wound on him. Never mind.
Now they're going to stay where they are.
So that's the end of the fight phase, and indeed of Death Guard turn 2. We haven't got any morale checks to make. So just victory points to calculate, and I hold 2 objectives to your 1, because I've got this one from the Plague Marines and that one from those guys.
Well, I hold that one.
And you hold that one because you've got more models. So it's another victory point for the Death Guard. So that brings it to 3-1 as we go on to Space Marines turn 3.
So the Dreadnought is going after these 2. So he's moved so they're equidistant from each other, so I can put all my shots into him. Hellblast is going to stay where he is. He likes that little window. Intercessors are just going to fall back out of melee.
Yeah, but staying within range of the objective, obviously.
And Librarian's going to try and zap them with Smite.
Okay.
So on to the Psychic phase. The Librarian will try to manifest Smite. Gets it with an 8.
Yeah.
D3 mortal wounds. 1.
I haven't ignored it though. So we'll take out the guy furthest from the objective.
And then he'll try and do Might of Heroes on himself.
Okay.
Doesn't get it with a 4. On to the shooting phase. The Hellblaster will fire at the Terminators.
Right.
2 shots. He won't overcharge.
Okay.
He missed twice. Oh, he missed.
It's a good thing he didn't supercharge though.
He didn't overcharge. He's rolled a 1 every time.
Yeah.
And the Intercessors will also fire at the Terminators. 3 will fire their bolt rifles, and the last one will throw a crack grenade.
Okay.
So I'll start with the crack grenade. Hitting on a 4. Nope. 6 bolt rifle shots hitting on 4s. 4 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
I do get cover from this because there's now a barricade between us.
3+.
Which I've made.
But
But if I roll a 1, they take a mortal wound.
no. Librarian will throw a crack grenade at the Plague Marines. So hitting on a 3. Yep. Wounding on a 3. Yep.
-1 AP, 4+. Yeah.
And then the Dreadnought's going to put everything into the Foulblight Spawn.
Yeah.
I'll use my once per game ignoring cover because I don't think that's...
I don't think he's... Oh yeah, because
he's got cover from the thingy.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to be
not
too
much
relevant
else.
further on, so might as well do it. So I'll start with Heavy Flamer, D6 automatic hits, 5. Wounding on 4s.
Ugh. 5 wounds, and I don't get cover from this, so these are minus because you just use your bonus, so 4 pluses. Failed 4. Disgustingly resilient. Made 1, so he's down to 1 wound.
And then the Fragger Storm grenade launchers, 5 shots, hitting on 3s. 3 hits, wounding on 5s. No wounds. And the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon, 12 shots, hitting on 4s because we moved. Whoa, what was that before? 8 hits. Oh no, there was a 3 there, sorry, 7 hits. Wounding on 4s because it's strength 5. 5 hits.
So we've got to make nearly all of these. Yeah, okay, so I made 1 again, so he has to make all of these. Oh, we made 2, but no, he goes down. And that's a victory point for the Space Marines as well.
Up to 2. The Librarian will declare a charge on the Plague Marines.
They will overwatch with the usual array of things. We've got 1 Blight Launcher left. It didn't hit. And the Plasma Gun we're not going to supercharge because I can't really roll on the thing. No hits. You're in, but yeah.
In with a 7, so he'll go like that. And then the Dreadnought will declare a charge on the Mythic Blight Hauler.
Okay. Yes. So the multi-melter needs 6. Oh, it
no.
did. It did. Yeah, because you didn't. No, it went on a 3. Yeah. No save. Yeah, because you didn't get my hero.
2d6 damage.
2d6 damage, picking the highest. Only 3.
So it's down to 4.
It's still it's in its second bracket then, which is important. Yeah.
And then the Crack Missile.
Crack Missile. Nearly. It's almost a 6 as well. Then the Bile Spurt, 1 shot. Hitting on a 6 now.
And yeah, it's the 7. So go like that. So we'll start with the Dreadnought. So you've got 4 attacks hitting on 5s because it's down a bracket and stinky. 4 attacks hitting on 5s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 2. Wounded.
5+ invulnerable. Nope.
D6 damage. 5.
Bit better, ignoring these on 5s. And we ignore 3.
So it's down to 6 wounds.
Yeah.
So the Librarian, he has 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Come on, they all hit. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound.
6+. Nope.
D3 damage. 2.
Killed the other Blight Launcher. The Librarian's just consolidated like that to get a bit closer to the objective. The Champion will hit him back. He's got 2 attacks. They hit on 4s. And they both did. They wound on 2s. They both wounded.
6+ armor save. Made 1.
Made 1. He will survive. Oh, he takes 3 damage though.
Down to 2 wounds.
And then the Blight Hauler gets to hit the Dreadnought. He hit once. Wounds on 5. No. So that's the end of Space Marines turn 3. On to Death Guard turn 3. Well, my movement is the Terminators have moved around the end of the pipe so the Intercessors don't get cover. The Champion's going to stay in melee and try and hit the Librarian. Probably the only way I'm going to prevent you getting a victory point this round. And then the Blight Hauler has just fallen back to over there. Yeah, the Terminator actually going to shoot the Hellblaster Sergeant because that could potentially get me a victory point. So the Plague Spewer gets all 6
there
hits.
we go.
This might do the job. Wounding on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Oh, they're all wounded.
Ooh. So that's 6, 3+ armor saves.
Yes, because you're in cover. Ah,
Failed 1, he's still there.
still on a wound. Yep, Combi Bolter, 4 shots hitting on 3s. They've all hit as well. Can they all wound? No, only 1 wound and 2+.
2+. Phew.
Yeah, you made it. Yes, Sarge still alive. And then no other shooting, so they will charge the Intercessors.
We'll do a Crack Grenade and then Bolt Rifles.
Okay.
So Crack Grenade hitting on a 6. Nope. 6 Bolt Rifle shots hitting on 6s. No hits.
You used up all the hits already, and then the charge distance is enough.
Yeah.
So they just charge like that, and then they get their attacks. We'll do the axe first, hitting on 3s. 2 hits, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. 2 wounds, one of which is -3 and one is -2.
So there's a 6+ armor save, which I made, and a 5+ armor save, which I didn't make.
The guy with his fist gets 1 hit, wounds on a 4. No. Yep, only 1 wound there. And then my pick for melee combats is the Champion, who needs to kill this Librarian or suffer the consequences. Yep, that's what he usually does when it matters. So you get to hit back.
I'll do the Librarian. 4 attacks hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. 6+ armor save.
No.
D3 damage. 3.
Oh, nearly. But that's the end of the Champ. You can consolidate towards the Terminators if you want to.
Yeah, I'll go a little bit closer.
Right.
And I get a victory point.
Yep, so that's killing a unit.
And then the Intercessors get to fight. So we'll pile in a bit, just so we can all get within an inch of someone who's in the melee. 9 attacks hitting on 3s. Let's get all those 6s and 5s again. Wounding on 5s. Oh, 3 wounds.
2+ armour. Made them all.
Yeah, you're going to be fine.
So that's the end of the battle round again. This objective over here is contested, but the Space Marines control 2. They control that one with 4 models, and the Librarian has this one over here. So that means that a victory point to the Space Marines, which now puts them 4-3 in the lead. So still all to play for as we go into Space Marines turn 4.
Movement, the Dreadnought's just going to move along a bit, so we're close enough. So because he can fight over the pipe, it's 2 inches, so I mean I can just fight it that way. Brain's just going to basically stay where he is. The Intercessors are going to fall back out of melee, and the Hellblaster's going to stay where he is. Onto the Psychic phase, the Librarian will try to manifest Smite, and he doesn't get it with a 4. He will try to manifest Might of Heroes on the Dreadnought.
Okay.
Which he got with a 6.
Yes.
And then shooting phase. Start with the Librarian and fire his bolt pistol at the Terminators. Hitting on a 3, you hit. Wounding on a 5. Oh, wounded.
2+. No.
Oh.
Disgustingly resilient. Yes.
There we go. The Intercessors, one will throw a crack grenade and the other 3 will fire their bolt rifles. So crack grenade hitting on a 4, missed. 6-foot rifle shots hitting on 4s, 3 hits, wounding on 5s, no wounds. Hellblast the Sergeant will fire at the Terminators as well, not overcharging. Oh, should have overcharged at last. Finally got 2 hits, wounding on 3s, 2 wounds.
I'm going to need my 4+ invulnerable save against this. Oh, failed both. So it's 2 damage. Disgustingly resilient. Nope. We're going to lose the axe first, because even though he's impressive in melee, I think this thing on average will actually do more wounds with the Plague Spear, so we'll keep him.
And then the Dreadnought will fire everything into the hauler. So the Heavy Flamer, D6 automatic hits, 5, wounding on 5s, no wounds. Frag Storm grenade launchers, 2d6 shots, or 11 shots, hitting on 4s because it's down a bracket. It's only 4 hits, wounding on 5s, 2 wounds.
3+ armor save, failed 1. Disgustingly resilient, failed that.
So it's down to 5 wounds.
Yeah.
And then the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon, hitting on 5s because we moved and we're down a bracket.
Yeah.
12 shots. It's 3 hits, wounding on 5s, 2 wounds though.
4+ armor, failed 1. Disgustingly resilient, failed that. So
it's down to 4 wounds. And then the Dreadnought will declare a charge on the.
Right, can we roll a 6 with an ulti-melter again?
Oh no!
Apparently we can.
Wounding on a 4.
4 because you did get Mighty Heroes off, and that's a 3. That's quite important. Crack missile. Also hit.
Come on!
Also wounds on a 4. Yeah.
Oh no! 5+.
5+.
No!
D6 damage. 3.
Oof.
It's down to 1.
Down to 1.
Then the. Okay, you rolled a 12-inch for charge. If it survives the bile spurt, which I've got 3 shots. No, it's 3 shots.
That was 3 6s in a row for hitting.
Hitting on 6s. No.
I got a 12-inch charge, so it's definitely in.
It's definitely in.
It's on top of the pipe.
Right.
So it's got 5 attacks, hitting on 6s. Got a weapon skill of 5+ now, because it's in its lowest bracket, and the thingy smells bad. We got a hit. Wounding on a 2. Bare minimum.
5+ invulnerable. Yes.
Oh.
And then it gets to hit back, because it's the only thing in melee. It got 1 hit, which wounds on a 5. No. We're going to be on to Death Guard turn 4. Well, my movement, the Blight Hauler has fallen back round the Dreadnought, so he's out still contesting that objective, and the Terminator has moved to get closer to the Librarian, whom he will shoot with his Plague Spear. So getting D6 hits, 5, wounding on 3s, rerolling ones, that's 2s, I don't want to see them, that's more 2s, so only 2 wounds, and you do have cover because you are slightly obscured by the pipe.
3+ armor saves.
Yep.
Need both, but I got 6. I'm in cover.
Oh yeah,
so on a 1 I take a mortal wound. No, I don't.
No. Yeah, he will charge the Librarian because he's going to get smited anyway, smitten.
Okay, Librarian will Overwatch with a crack grenade. No, I can't roll 6 in Overwatch.
Ah.
Oh.
That is not enough. He is just over 3 inches away. So there won't be any charging or fighting in Death Guard turn 4. Which is the end of the battle round. And now he is within 3 inches of this pipe, so this one's contested, as is the one over here. But Space Marines control that one, so that's another victory point for them. To 5, to 3, as we go into Space Marines turn 5, final battle round of the game.
Librarian will go over there. We'll bravely run away. Actually, the Hellblaster might as well go over here.
Hellblast moves over there.
The Intercessors will just stay where they are.
Okay.
And the Dreadnought will stay where it is.
Yeah, it shoots better if it stays still.
Yep. It's only hitting on 5s. The Librarian will try to manifest Smite in the psychic phase.
Yep.
Needs a 5. Gets it with a 6. It's on the Terminator. D3 mortal wounds. 2.
Yeah, it's dead. Terminator goes down. Up to 6.
And then the Dreadnought will stay there and shoot its gun, all of its guns at the thingamajig. Yep. Oh yeah, the Librarian will not try to manifest another psychic power because I don't want him to blow up. Heavy Flamer on the thingy. Ooh, 6 hits this time. Finally got his iron with the Heavy Flamer. Wounding on 5s. Ooh,
4 wounds.
4 wounds.
4+. Made 1. Oh, okay, and then Disgustingly Resilient. Made 1, so takes another 2 wounds, down to 2.
Frag Assault, grenade launchers, 9 shots. Hitting on 5s. 4 hits. It shoots best when it's on 1 wound. Wounding on 5s. 2 wounds.
3+ save from this. Made 1, failed 1. I've made my resilient for that one.
And then the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon. 12 shots hitting on 5s. Oh, blimey. 7 hits. Wounding on 5s. There you go, only 1 wound.
-1 AP, made the save.
So the Hellblaster Sergeant is also in range, so he'll take a shot at it. Hits on a 3, it hit. Wounds on a
4, because you're not
4, because it's strength 7 and it's toughness 7. Didn't wound. And the 4 intercessors will fire their bolt rifles at it, hitting on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 5s.
Yeah.
They all wound.
Wow, okay, minus 1 AP. Made 2, failed 2, so I'm going to make both of these resilient rolls. Oh. But it blows up on a 4+, I think.
4+?
I didn't, I rolled a 2. We can't remember exactly what it is, but it's definitely not a 2, so it goes down and it doesn't take the Dreadnought with it. Which means you do get 3 victory points at the end of the turn and another one. So basically it ends with the final score 10 victory points to 3 for the Space Marines at the end of the battle round, obviously. In the end, a fairly comfortable Space Marine victory despite
It didn't feel like
what it felt like it was going to be at the beginning. Anyway, we're going to recap all that and give you our thoughts on that now. So that was our game for issue 33. Yeah, how did you think that went?
Better than I thought, especially after the first couple of turns. I think you were pulling ahead to begin with, but I managed to pull it back. And I think probably the main thing that decided that was being able to tie up the Blight Hauler and the Foul Blight Spawn for most of the game.
I completely agree. They did tons of damage in their first shooting phase and they never got a second one.
Yeah, and even then the Blight Hauler still hit 3 times in Overwatch.
Oh, that was ridiculous, yeah. Apparently my ability to roll 6s for those one-shot weapons in Overwatch is quite good. But the Dreadnought did still survive to the end.
Yeah, you took all that melting on fire. You did barely any damage to the thing in melee, spent the whole game chasing it round.
Yeah, but he did all right in the game overall, the Dreadnought, I think. He killed the Foul Blight Spawn in one round of shooting.
Yeah, he actually did roll really well there.
Quite useful. But the -1 to hit actually hurt him quite a lot. The
melee as well.
Melee, yeah, the -1 to hit in melee, and then once he started taking damage, he couldn't hit stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically the Dreadnought could tie up those 2 units, and you didn't have the Poxwalkers, so you had to use your Plague Marines and the Terminators to fight the rest of my army, essentially.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, the Poxwalkers did do their job. They moved out all nice and fine as I wanted them to, but then you killed them all in one shooting phase and then charged through them, which is just a risk, really, I guess. They didn't stand up under fire, and you were able to get through them. I think in hindsight I probably should have kept the Blight Hauler still in my deployment zone. He probably could have got within 12 inches of the Dreadnought.
Basically, I think splitting up the Blight Hauler and the Foul Blight Spawn is probably the way to go, so they can't both get tied up, especially with the Reavers dead. If you can kill the Reavers, there's no shot grenades being thrown out. You can't really do anything about the Foul Blight Spawn safely then, except with the Librarian's Smite.
Yeah, and there was actually one particular moment where I could have split them up, but I moved them. I fell back from the Dreadnought and moved them both in the same place so I could get a victory point by holding an objective. But the downside of that was they then got charged. Well, actually, they didn't get charged because that was the turn when you blew the Foul Blight Spawn away.
Oh, yeah.
In shooting. But as a general tactic, I probably should have kept the 2 of them separate a bit better. My other units had a relatively inconsistent game, I think. The Plague Marines couldn't decide who they wanted to shoot at. They shot at a number of units and did a few wounds here and there, but didn't get me any victory points. And the Terminators were actually a bit lackluster.
Yeah, I would have expected them to do better, to at least kill more of the intercessors.
Yeah, maybe I should have not killed off the Swordman, but they probably did more shooting than they did fighting this game, so... As we said before, they have... All their weapons do 1 damage, so if you roll well enough for your saves, it...
Yeah, and they only have 2 attacks. Just kind of struggle against 2 wound models.
Yeah, they didn't do super well in melee this game either. But yeah, I think actually in this game you generally did pretty well at shutting down my units. You took the 2 dangerous shooting units and kept them melee. Well, I wouldn't say you bogged down the Terminators because that wasn't necessarily your intention, but the Intercessors did bog them down, and I couldn't take that objective off you, and then I think you shot one with a Hellblaster and then smoked the other one with the Librarian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think if your champion had hit and killed the Librarian, that would have been a big turning point. It
would have gained me a victory point and would have denied you 1 for objectives, I think.
Possibly 2 for holding objectives.
Yeah. That was, and at the time that was a calculated risk. If the champion had killed the Librarian, he would have held the objective, so it would have been like a 2 victory point swing. As it was, you killed him, so you got a victory point from that. So it perhaps was arguably a 3 victory point swing, actually, for that risk, which didn't pay off.
Oh, and say another thing it could have done was to keep the Blight Hauler in melee at the end and try to eat the Dreadnought because it was only on 1 wound.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah, I could have... because at that point, the Dreadnought was hitting it on 6s. So I could have just tried to take it down in melee rather than fall back.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the big weakness of the Foul Blight Spawn and the Blight Hauler is that once they have to start falling back, kind of can't do anything about it, especially with something like the Dreadnought, where you don't really have anything else to counter it.
Yeah, it's pretty safe for you at that point to just keep them bogged down. And your Librarian had a reasonably good game.
Yeah, he didn't blow himself up.
No, which is makes a change.
He still failed a couple of... It's fairly easy to roll a 5 and a 6. Rolls a lot of 4s.
He does. He really does.
Nice.
So actually, by having him marauding around in the middle of the board, although it was a risk for you keeping him out there, it also meant that I had to do something about... it also was kind of a big distraction for me.
There was a point where I'm sure you could have got him in range with the Plague Marines, and you could have shot at him then. That might have been a better idea.
Yeah,
I think you shot at the Dreadnought instead.
I did shoot the Dreadnought instead and didn't damage it, I think, so I probably could have actually got him there, yeah.
Or at the very least at that point, possibly finishing off the Hellblasters.
Yeah. And then, what about going first as well? Because you went first, but would you want to go first in this mission again?
It's kind of not ideal going first, because if you go first and I move out, then you get a better chance to shoot at me because I'm not in cover.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't gone first, you could have brought in the Terminators somewhere else.
I might have been able to bring them down in a better position, yeah. Like in one of the area cover zones where you would have had a hard time shifting them.
The ideal outcome, you'd move the Dreadnought to the middle of the board and immediately charge in just to try and tie up that thing. But if the Death Guard knows you're going first, they're not going to deploy it in the front. It didn't really have anything to do with the Dreadnought. I think it killed a Poxwalker in its first turn. It was just kind of there. And the Intercessors and the Hellblasters don't quite have enough rapid fire range to get rapid fire. And the Reavers didn't do anything. They just advanced and didn't quite get far enough and then got melted off the board.
And I mean, I guess in terms of general tactics for the mission, actually going second is helpful because you
get to react before the end of the battle round.
Yes, exactly. So you can kind of pick where the points are scored. Well, you can try to do something about it anyway. I quite liked the scoring at the end of the battle round actually, because objective games we've had in the past, quite often actually by battle round 5, one side has been wiped out, so the objectives are largely irrelevant. Probably at least half our games with objectives, I reckon, the objectives themselves have been basically pointless. Because either one side is conceded because of being unable to win, or the other side, or has just been wiped out. Whereas in this one, because I was ahead on points at the beginning, but then you managed to claw them back, and then obviously in the last battle round you scored a ton, but you also wiped me out, so it was kind of irrelevant at that point anyway. Yeah, it's an interesting innovation, I guess. Anyway, I think that's probably all we can think of to say, so if you have enjoyed this, then please give it a like and subscribe for more episodes. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts about what you would have done differently. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, goodbye for now.